What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, it seems that the World Boxing Association, better known as the WBA, President Gilberto Mendoza, are on the verge of making a decision regarding the highly anticipated showdown between four-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer who currently is the undisputed super middleweight world champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, and undefeated WBA light heavyweight world champion Russian superstar boxer Dmitry Bivol, who is 19 wins, no losses, no draw, 11 wins by way of knockout. Dmitry Bivol is 31 years of age, 6 feet tall, with a 72-inch arm reach. Canelo Alvarez, 57 wins, 1 loss, 2 draw, 39 big wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age as well, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. With that said, they're scheduled to face off against one another May 7th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now, obviously, there's a chain of unfortunate chain events that are taking place in the Ukraine. And dealing with Russia and Ukraine, it seems like, that sports regarding athletes that are Russian are being suspended. And so the World Boxing Council, the WBC, the World Boxing Organization, the WBO, the IBF, International Boxing Federation, they have all made the decision that they will not sanction any title bouts regarding and including any Russian athletes, boxers in this case. There's 4 major sanction belts, those 3 and the WBA. So they made the decision that undefeated light heavyweight unified world champion Russian superstar boxer Artur Beterbiev, who is 18 wins, no losses, no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout. Artur Beterbiev is 37 years of age. He is 5'11.5" with a 73.5-inch arm reach. He is the unified WBC IBF world champion. He was scheduled to go into a unification bout with WBO light heavyweight world champion star boxer Joe Smith Jr. It looked like it was on the verge of taking place late spring, early summer. But now, due to the fact that Artur Beterbiev cannot participate in title fights, I don't know where that's going to leave it, nor does the boxing world. Okay, as long as the chain of events continue to take place over in Ukraine, it's being said that the 3 major sanction belts are not going to participate. Well, then we got word that the WBA initially wasn't going to participate. Okay, they were going to allow Dmitry Bivol and Canelo Alvarez fight to be a title showdown. Well, now we're hearing that that's not going to be the case. Now it's conflicting reports. That's not going to be the case. They are now going to back out of it being a title showdown. So that means Canelo Alvarez will be going to light heavyweight for essentially no reason, because there will be no belt on the line that he can win. Okay? And obviously Canelo Alvarez is viewed as the face of the sport of boxing. He's considered top 3, if not number 1 best pound for pound fighter in the world. So with that said, Canelo Alvarez, obviously, he's looking to legacy fights. He's looking to achieve legacy fights, okay, build his legacy. And so if he's fighting Dmitry Bivol and there's no title on the line, well, that beats the purpose of Canelo Alvarez even going to 175, because he has plans afterwards to fight the winner, Joe Smith, Artur Beterbiev, for undisputed. Well, now it's being reported that the WBA is going to play it by air. President Gilberto Mendoza, they plan on playing it by air to see if by the time the fight rolls around, May 7th, we are just today is only March 2nd, okay? So he's saying now that May 7th, by that time, they'll make a decision, okay? So that gives them about 2 months before they'll make a decision. But now they're waiting for the chain of events. If the chain of events continues on in the Ukraine, then they will not sanction this fight. But if everything has subsided and there's an agreement and everything has come to a halt, then it will be a sanctioned bout. Okay. Now the WBC, the IBF, WBO, they've already made a decision. They're not going to wait till Cinco de Mayo weekend. They're not going to sanction anything until all of the chain of events that are taking place comes to a halt and comes to an end. So from here on out, there won't be any Russian boxers that are sanctioned in title fights. Now, that don't mean that they can't participate in being fighters, but the sanction belts, they just don't want the fighters to represent their brand with all of the things that are taking place. And, it'll be frowned upon. It's just not good for business. So they don't want to participate, and they don't want it to be represented, okay? And so there's reports that Arthur Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. now on negotiations has been put on hold because, again, it's pointless for that fight to move forward. What are they going to fight for if the belts are not on the line? Okay. And so with that said, it's unfortunate, the things that are taking place. And it's interesting to see what direction Canelo Alvarez is going to go in, because he had 2 offers on the table. Okay. Now we know Canelo Alvarez, what he can do now is just skip ahead of the line, because his second fight, he signed a 2-fight deal with the possibility of it being a 3-fight, $160 million deal, with him fighting again before the year is up in about December. As I told you guys, that more than likely he would fight Arthur Beterbiev, if he was to be successful, fight the winner, Joe Smith Jr., Dmitry Bivol, and he's successful in May against Dmitry Bivol. In September, fight Arthur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr. winner, become undisputed, and then fight Triple G, who he already fought twice, his biggest rival, in a trilogy in December in Mexico City. Well, it looks like there is going to be a 3rd fight tagged on to this deal, should all go well, okay? But now he can just go ahead and jump ahead of the line and go right into a fight with Gennady Triple G Golovkin. If Arthur Beterbiev has to sit on the shelf, if Dmitry Bivol has to sit on the shelf, I think it works out perfectly for Canelo Alvarez. Now he doesn't have to put his body through a yo-yo situation. He can fight Triple G in defense of his undisputed titles at 168 in May, Cinco de Mayo weekend, and hopefully everything clears up. And in September, you go ahead and fight Dmitry Bivol. And in December, because now, remember, Arthur Beterbiev, he's not active either. He has to sit on the shelf, or he can fight, but his titles won't be on the line. Okay, Joe Smith Jr. can fight, but his titles, now, there's a different situation with Joe Smith Jr. He can fight, and his titles will be on the line. So if he takes a loss, then he would lose his title. So I highly doubt that he would be active, because he would lose a massive opportunity, okay? So I believe all parties involved would sit on the shelf. So if you're Canelo Alvarez at this point in time, you go ahead and fight Triple G now in September. Okay, in May, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Triple G has already entered training camp because he's preparing to face off against Murata in the unification bout in April. So he could put that on hold, okay, and he could fight Canelo Alvarez in May. He's been long yearning to get an opportunity in a trilogy match with Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez, Triple G in May. Now Canelo Alvarez doesn't have to go to 175, come back down to 68, go back up to 75. No, now Canelo Alvarez can defend his titles against Triple G in May at 168, where he currently campaigns, then move up to 175 in September to fight Dmitry Bivol. You're already at 175. Now you just lateral move to the winner, Arthur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr. You still become undisputed in less than a calendar year. And then in 2023, you move forward with the fights of the likes of Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez. But it just makes sense. You already have a deal in place to fight Triple G in September. Just fight him in May. Okay? Put the Dmitry Bivol fight on hold. Dmitry Bivol is going to be rendered, on the shelf, okay? Inactive, but, he could take a tune-up fight just to stay busy. And then around that time, and then his title could be on the line in September against Canelo Alvarez. Stay active, stay busy. That makes the most sense, okay? And then you're not putting the sanction bodies on the hook, okay? You're not putting anybody in the bind, and everybody moves forward. And hopefully by the time September December roll around, everything has cleared up and subsided, and everybody moves forward. So let's see how this unfolds. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Wow.